How to save money from your paycheck every month. Most people don't struggle to save money because they don't earn enough. They struggle because their paycheck disappears before they even realize where it went. If you've ever checked your bank account near the end of the month and thought, "I just got paid, how is it already gone?" This video is for you. And if you've ever told yourself, "I'll start saving next month," or "Once I make a little more money, then I'll save," you're definitely not alone. Saving money from your paycheck sounds simple on paper. You earn money, you spend less than you make, and you save the difference. But real life doesn't work that cleanly. Bills aren't polite, expenses don't wait, and money decisions happen fast, often without much thought. So today, instead of giving you another list of extreme budgeting tips, we're going to talk about a calmer, more realistic way to save money. One that works even if your income isn't perfect, even if your expenses feel high, and even if you failed at saving before. Because saving money isn't about motivation, it's not about discipline, and it's definitely not about tracking every single dollar perfectly. It's about having a system that works before you start spending. Here's what usually happens for most people. Your paycheck comes in. For a brief moment, things feel okay. Then rent or mortgage gets paid, utilities come out, groceries get bought, gas gets filled, subscriptions renew quietly in the background. None of these things feel irresponsible. They're normal, they're necessary. But by the time the month is almost over, the money that was supposed to become savings is already gone. So saving turns into something abstract, something you plan to do later, something future you is supposed to figure out. And when this happens month after month, people start blaming themselves. They think they're bad with money. They think they lack self-control. They think everyone else has some secret they missed. But the problem isn't you. The problem is the order. Most people try to save money after they've spent it, and that almost never works. Saving last means saving only if everything else goes perfectly, and life rarely goes perfectly. The simplest shift that actually works is this. Saving needs to happen first, not last. Not a dramatic amount, not a painful sacrifice, just a small, intentional decision that happens the moment your paycheck arrives. This matters because your brain treats money differently depending on timing. Money you never see feels very different from money you already consider yours. When savings comes out first, you don't feel like you're losing something. You simply adjust to what's left, and that adjustment happens more naturally than most people expect. This is why people who don't budget can still save money, while people with detailed spreadsheets sometimes struggle. It's not about control, it's about structure. Instead of asking, "How much can I save at the end of the month?" a better question is, "What small amount can I set aside the moment I get paid?" That one question changes everything. Now let's talk about what a realistic savings system actually looks like. First, choose an amount that feels almost boring, not impressive, not aspirational, not something that makes you feel proud when you say it out loud, just something small enough that it doesn't disrupt your life. For some people, that might be $50 per paycheck. For others, it might be $20. And for some, even $10 is a real win. The amount itself doesn't matter nearly as much as consistency. A small amount saved consistently beats a large amount saved occasionally, because consistency builds identity. When you save regularly, even in small amounts, you start seeing yourself as someone who saves money, and that identity matters more than the number in your account early on. The second step is automation. This is where most systems succeed or fail. If saving requires you to remember, or to make a decision every time, or to feel motivated, it won't last. Automation removes emotion from the process. The money moves before you can spend it, before you can justify skipping it, and before you can talk yourself out of it. You don't wake up on payday asking yourself if you feel like saving. It just happens. And over time, that lack of decision-making becomes freedom. The third step is separation. Your savings should not live in the same place as your spending money. When savings are too easy to access, they don't feel like savings, they feel like a backup plan, and backup plans get used. Separation creates a psychological boundary. It turns savings into something slightly inconvenient to touch, which is exactly what you want. Not impossible, just intentional. Now here's something important that almost no one tells you. Saving money isn't supposed to feel exciting. It's supposed to feel boring. Boring is a sign that the system is working. Boring means you're not constantly thinking about money. You're not negotiating with yourself. You're not relying on bursts of motivation. If saving feels exciting, it usually means you're doing something extreme, and extreme systems don't last. What lasts is something quiet, repetitive, and unremarkable, something that happens whether you're in a good mood or not. There will be months when things don't go as planned. Expensive expenses happen, income changes, life gets messy. Maybe you have to pause saving for a month. Maybe you lower the amount. Maybe you dip into savings for something important. None of that means you failed. It means the system is being used. The biggest mistake people make is quitting entirely just because they couldn't be perfect. Missing 1 month doesn't erase progress. Lowering the amount doesn't undo consistency. What matters is returning to the system without guilt, because guilt is one of the fastest ways to sabotage saving. When saving feels like punishment, you'll avoid it. But when saving feels neutral, when it's just something that quietly happens, it becomes much easier to maintain. You don't need a complicated budget, you don't need to track every dollar, and you don't need a higher income right away. You need a system that works with real life, not against it. A system that functions even when motivation is low, even when progress feels slow, even when you feel behind. Because slow progress is still real progress. Saving money from your paycheck isn't about changing everything overnight. It's about building one small habit that repeats quietly, month after month, year after year. And eventually that habit compounds, not just financially, but mentally. You stop feeling constantly behind. You stop feeling anxious every time you check your account. You stop relying on next month to fix things. You start building stability. And stability is what gives you options. Save, build, repeat. If you want more realistic money habits like this, you can subscribe to the channel. New videos every week.